Well, hello. Today I'm gonna talk about this beautiful rust bucket combined with wood and steel called Steel Vengeance. And I'm gonna actually try to make this review quite shorter than the other videos because I don't want to make the viewer suffer for 10 long minutes. And for a long time, Steel Vengeance has been my number one bucket list coaster across the whole world, and I finally got to ride it in May 2024. Yes, sir. And I'm a really strong believer that Steel Vengeance have the three best elements at the start of this ride in any roller coaster in any world. In any world, are we in the multiverse? But my point is the 90-degree first drop and the next two camelbacks are insane. The amount of airtime you get, holy moly. So now let's go over the basic stats of this roller coaster as you always do in a normal review. But all of you roller coaster nerds probably already know the facts, but let's do it, man. Yes. Steel Vengeance opened in 2018 and it is 205 feet tall, and that's probably 62.5 meters, and it's 74 miles per hour fast, and that is approximately 120 kilometers per hour, and the length of this ride is 5,740 feet, and that is approximately around 1.3 kilometers. Yes, I'm a nerd with numbers. And now I'm gonna go into a whole in-depth review of the layout and the feelings and the forces of this ride. Yes, let's go. As you almost turn 180 degrees out the station, you experience two small airtime pops at the start of the ride. This is the pre-lift section, as we call it, and it is already one of the best pre-lifts I've tried. These two small airtime pops gives a bit of airtime if you're in the front of the train, but not really anything at the back of the train. Sorry, man. And now you go up the 205 foot tall, loud, noisy, annoying to hear lift hill, and all the common riders, you know, the general public, they also think there's something wrong with this ride when it pulls up, man. And I promise you guys not to suffer, so I'm gonna quickly go over this ride layout. Are you ready? Steel Vengeance drop is awesome. It is 90 degrees and it's best experience in the back row where you get the awesome airtime pull, of course. Is it a great drop? Yes. Is it one of the best drops in the world? No. 9 out of 10 drop. And now you go over a little flat long airtime hump with a little bit of airtime in the front and the back train. And this is one of the two best ride elements right here, the airtime hill that banks to the right. It gives flowjector airtime throughout the whole train, but I prefer the back row because it gives the pull at the bottom of the drop. Yeah, we like that. And now Steel Vengeance hits you with an outer bank airtime hill. This is just as insane as the last airtime hill, but it's just outer bank, so flowjector airtime throughout the whole train and a bit of pull in the back, so we prefer the back, of course. Yeah. This first section with the first drop and these two enormous flowjector airtime hills are the best elements I've ever tried on a roller coaster, period. Yes. Now we go into another airtime hill that gives ejector airtime throughout the whole train, and then a barrel roll that twists to the right, and this also makes all the riders leave their seat. Now the riders experience two dull moments where the first one is a wave turn and the other one is a wave turn with a bit of airtime, not much. And then the next inversion is a short stall, and this almost feels illegal if you're in the back row because you really get yanked out of this element. You can feel your torso getting ripped apart in the back, so it's of course best in the back. And then you experience two ejector airtime hills where the first one gives ejector and the next one strong ejector before the trims hit you. Oh no. At the start of the day, these trims really slow down the ride experience and the layout, but in the late evening you can't feel the trims, so I'm gonna review this on behalf of my best ride. I don't know if you can say that on behalf of anything, but I'm trying. Then you go down an awesome another drop. It almost feels like a small coaster steep drop, and it's perfect in the back. You get the pull again and the awesome ejector airtime. In the front it's floater, mid. And yes, you heard it, we go through another pair of ejector airtime hills throughout the whole train, and then you get pulled into a bigger airtime hill that twists you to the right, and then you go through the structure of the ride, and now it gets interesting. Not really, now the ride starts to repeat itself. Then you go through a wave turn that doesn't do really anything, maybe a bit of airtime, and then you hit some ejector airtime hills, and then you hit an awesome barrel roll through the structure, and this really has some head chopper effects because of of course you're in the structure, you know what I mean. I don't want to really go in depth with the rest of the ride, but you experience a lot of ejector airtime hills that still deliver, and then you receive another corkscrew / barrel roll inversion that's quite mid, and then we go to the finale of this ride, and the rest of this ride layout really shows that Steel Vengeance is relentless. Here you experience a dozen small airtime hills that really still gives you ejector airtime throughout the whole train. This is just amazing. And the funny thing is you can hear all people riding, they sound like And then you of course crawl up to the brakes and you finish this awesome ride layout. And now I'm gonna go over the pros and cons of this ride layout, and then I'm gonna give you a score from 1 to 10. Yeah. The first drop and the 2 consecutive airtime hills are world class. You can only experience these elements on Steel Vengeance, and they are best experienced in the back. And then the last world class element is the little stall that twists you and breaks your torso when you're in the back row. Then the rest of the inversions are mid, but I think all the other airtime pops are great, but not world class / crazy. So this ride also feels a bit repetitive when you hit all these airtime hills. So that's quite frankly my only con with this ride. It could feel a bit repetitive. So that's why I'm of course gonna give this roller coaster a perfect 10 out of 10 score. Damn. So I really think that's it for this video. I've tried to make this review shorter than the other ones I've done. Do you people like that the videos are shorter and more punchy, or do you really love to hear the long, really in-depth reviews? Let me know in the comments. And what do you think of my review of Steel Vengeance? Have you ridden Steel Vengeance, and do you agree or not? Oh boy.